Reuters reporters claim that thousands of former intelligence operatives are fighting the war in Sudan along with the country's army. It is believed that these operatives used to work under former President Omar al-Bashir and have ties to his Islamist movement. This has further complicated the efforts to end the war, which has been raging for 10 weeks. It is being said that former officials of the country's now disbanded National Intelligence and Security Service have confirmed the report. Sierra Leone's President Julius Maada Bio secured victory in the West African country's presidential election with more than 56% of votes. Maada Bio avoids a runoff against his main rival, Samura Kamara, who received 41% of the votes. The election, which was held on Saturday, has been tense, with violence breaking out before and after the polls. It was speculated that more unrest could follow once the results were announced. Opposition leader Kamara has rejected the poll results, citing irregularities and lack of transparency. International observers and the United States have also voiced concerns about a lack of transparency in the counting process. South Korea has announced sanctions on 2 individuals and 2 entities over their alleged involvement in North Korea's weapons programs. The sanctions also target a South Korean national who acquired Russian citizenship. 2 companies which have been sanctioned are also owned by him. The individual Choi Chong-gong is accused of helping North Korea's illegal financial activities in violation of United Nations Security Council sanctions. South Koreans will now become younger by a year as the country dropped the traditional method of calculating age. Seoul was the only East Asian country to use a method of calculating age, which starts counting age of babies from the time they are in the womb. But now it will use the international system that calculates age according to a person's actual date of birth. The Philippine authorities have detained more than 2,700 human traffickers during a raid in Manila. The alleged trafficking victims were paid to recruit players for online games. Many of them were forced to work 12-hour shifts every day and were paid as little as $400 a month. The victims were prevented from leaving the compound. Authorities called it the biggest ever anti-trafficking raid in the Philippines. Let's talk business on Speed News. The European Union considers launching a digital version of the euro currency. This would be used alongside cash. Unlike cryptocurrency, a digital euro will be guaranteed by the European Central Bank. It could also cut out current cashless payment service providers such as Visa, MasterCard and Apple Pay. A parliamentary committee in Australia has recommended a phased ban on all advertising for online gambling within the next 3 years. The move comes after rising concerns about the destructive impact of online gambling on communities and the culture of sport. Australians currently outspend citizens of every other country in online gambling, prompting the urgent need for action. The proposed ban aims to eliminate gambling advertisements across all media platforms, leaving no room for circumvention. This recommendation, if implemented, would have significant implications for major online gaming companies. The Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has pledged to consider the committee's recommendations and address the broader issues of online and social media concerns. Let's switch to climate now. Residents in northeastern India were surrounded by flood water as a monsoon swept over most of the country. Muslims hoping to celebrate Eid ul-Adha will have difficulties commemorating the day due to the devastating floods. India's monsoon season rains were set to cover the whole country by the weekend, according to the Indian Meteorological Department. Orange alerts were issued and heavy rainfall was expected to lash the region through Sunday. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires have crossed the North Atlantic Ocean and has reached Europe. The wildfire smoke shrouded the skies of Portugal and Spain earlier this week and is expected to arrive in Western Europe and the British Isles late this week. This year's wildfire season is the worst on record in Canada, with some 76,000 square kilometers being charred completely. Scientists remain concerned about the carbon emissions from the wildfire. The carbon released is roughly equivalent to Indonesia's annual carbon dioxide emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. In Saudi Arabia, huge crowds of robed Muslims gathered for the stoning of the devil ritual on Wednesday, which is seen as the biggest Hajj pilgrimage since pandemic. The ritual marks the start of the three-day holiday Eid al-Adha, celebrated by Muslims to commemorate Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son. The Hajj is a major source of revenue and prestige for Saudi Arabia, which is trying to free its oil-dependent economy in new directions, including tourism. Scientists can now study our earliest days with the help of embryo models and reveal the mysteries of early human development, the medical problems that happens before birth, and why many pregnancies fail. These models are made from stem cells, not egg and sperm, and they cannot grow into babies. According to Zerinka Goetz, a developmental biologist, human embryo models could even be used to generate tissues used in new medical treatments. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.